Yep.
I call to order this regular meeting.
Microphone.
Thank you. I call to order this regular meeting of the Governing Board for the Scottsdale Unified School District. It is Tuesday, March 17th, 2020, and the time is 5 p.m. I will have a roll call starting on my right.
Jan Michael Greenberg.
Sandy Kravitz.
Barbara Perleberg. Patty Beckman.
And Allison Beckham. All 5 Governing Board members are present, and we have a quorum. All rise. Vice President Beckman, will you please lead us in the pledge?
I will.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to amend the agenda to move action items 9A and 9B prior to items 4A and B to accommodate a possible video chat with Dr. Menzel. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended? So moved. Board Member Kravitz moves. Do I have a second?
Second.
Vice President Beckman seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. So now we will be moving on to items 4A, which was previously 9A. It's approval of proposed per diem administrator contract with Dr. Scott Menzel. The contract provides for 20 days of work at a per diem rate. Do I have any discussion on this action item? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the action item as presented?
So moved.
Vice President Beckman moves. Do I have a second?
Second.
Board Member Greenberg seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. We'll move on to item 4B, previously 9B. This is approval of proposed superintendent contract for Dr. Scott Menzel. Do I have any discussion? No. Do I have a motion to approve the action item as presented?
So moved.
Board Member Greenberg moves. Do I have a second?
Second.
Board Member Kravitz seconds. Do I have any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. So we have a new superintendent coming in on July 1. Congratulations.
Welcome.
I know.
Congratulations to Dr. Scott Menzel. Our fabulous IT department was able to get a video chat with him, and here we are. I don't know how it works.
Well, first, thank you so much for the vote. As you know, until you make the action official, there's a lot of planning and hoping, but that was a relief for me that you voted to approve the contract. And I am truly excited to be joining the Scottsdale Unified School District as part of a dynamic leadership team working with the governing board to do good things for students, families, and the community. So I'm looking forward to getting started. It's 105 days until July 1st, but there's a lot of opportunity for engagement before then, and I'm looking forward to connecting with each one of you and continuing my relationship building with Dr. Creekgard.
Well, thank you. We are looking
you.
forward to
Thank
it
you.
also. Any other comments?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
We all say
Stay
welcome.
healthy, and we look forward to seeing you.
Look forward to seeing more of you.
Same here, and I will watch your board meeting, but I will disconnect from this video chat. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll talk tomorrow morning, Scott. Or tomorrow afternoon.
Sounds good. Thank you.
2 o'clock
All
our
right.
time.
Okay, and,
All right, yes. We'll talk to you.
all right, thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. All right. So we'll move on to superintendent comments. Dr. Creekgard, your comments? No. Oh, sorry, I forgot 4A and B now, when we made that amendment. We'll move on to item 4A. The board will suspend policies BEDB and BEDH as to a call to the public, also known as public comment. Due to the restrictions on public attendance at this meeting, the public may not be able to participate in public comment. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Board Member Greenberg moves. Do I have a second?
Second.
Board Member Perlberg seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. We have an action item B. The board will consider and may vote to approve a resolution regarding school closures and employee pay and leave during such closures due to COVID-19 emergency. Do I have a motion to approve action item B?
Well, it just,
Or-
sorry.
I'm sorry, do we have any
I-
discussion?
Well, I would like to make a motion that our board convene an executive session at this time for legal advice.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Board Member Greenberg seconds the motion to move into executive session for item 4B, approval of a resolution. Can I please have a vote? Those
Is
in
that-
favor?
Michelle,
Is that correct?
Could you just clarify that it's for legal advice on item 4?
Oh, legal advice on item 4B. Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? 5. The motion carries 5-0. We will move into exec session. I move to adjourn the executive session. Do I have a second?
Second.
I move to adjourn the executive session. Do I have a second?
Second.
Board Member Greenberg seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. The executive session is adjourned at 8:10 PM. We'll move to item 4, which we will reconvene in regular board meeting.
At 8:11.
At 8:11. Thank you.
Okay, and then we move on.
And then we will move on to action item. We will go ahead because that was the notice. So we'll be doing item number 4B. So the board will consider and may vote to approve a resolution regarding school closures and employee pay during such closures due to the COVID-19 emergency. Do I have a motion? I will just make a motion.
Is there any discussion?
I was going to make the motion, see if there's a second, and have a discussion. Would you like to have a discussion
No,
first?
you can make the motion
Okay.
first.
Okay. I'll move to make a motion to propose a resolution regarding school closures and employee pay, such closures due to COVID-19. Do I have a second?
Second.
Board Member Greenberg seconds. Do I have discussion? Move on to discussion.
Okay.
Board Member Greenberg, please.
Just because it's 8:10, I probably would have made a few longer comments, but really what I just want to say with regards to Section 1, just to thank Dr. Creekard and administrators, every one part of the incident command team, teachers, for the difficult decisions. I know last week was a tough week. I know it was a lot of conflicting information coming from our state and our CDC and federal government, and that the decisions that were made might have seemed back and forth and made on a whim to our community, but I do have the full faith and confidence in our administration that they were taking everything into consideration and doing what they genuinely thought was best for our district, for our students, our families, our teachers, our staff, and I just wanted to thank Dr. Creekard and admin for that.
Okay. Do we have a discussion on the proposed resolution? Board Member Perlberg.
Sorry, and, well, I can't get that. I'll keep this very brief because actually I would love Dr. Creekard to have the opportunity to the point I know our entire board is incredibly grateful of the work that has been done this past week. And I'd just love to give you a quick opportunity tonight to kind of lay out a little bit for our community what really, this past spring break looked like for many in our staff. Exactly. Okay. That'll be great then. Thank you for that. I look forward to those comments and yes, thank you. This is not easy for any of us, so we appreciate that, and I guess we'll just move on forward then for those comments.
Okay. All right, then we will move on. We have a motion, we have a second, and now we will have a vote. Those in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
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 Okay, and those opposed? I want to say I thank Dr. Creekard and especially our General Counsel, Michelle Marshall, for putting in the time and energy and the thought that went into this resolution, and I respect all the work that you did. However, I am just not personally comfortable with the language and the use of the resolution document to achieve the purpose and intent of defining the employee pay, and I'm not just as comfortable with the differential in pay that's outlined. And so I will be opposing the resolution as presented. So it is 4-1 and passes. We will move on to superintendent comments. Dr. Creekard, your comments, and I think what everybody is waiting to hear about.
Thank you, President Beckham, members of the board. So it was a topsy-turvy week, including spring break. made more difficult because I was supposed to be in Italy during that week. So, like some of our students, my trip was canceled as well. Excuse me. So, first of all, I want to talk a little bit about our structure, and we have 3 of our employees who have been trained and actually have been trainers in emergency management cycle, based on the U.S. department called FEMA and their incident command structure. That is James Dorer, our security chief, who has been instrumental in the state's program and was an original trainer of other school districts, as well as Melissa Sackos, and Amy Bolton in a former position was trained and was actually the PIO for the State Homeland Security Office and the Governor's Office. So we come well prepared to have the structure necessary. The decisions still have to be made. I can show you just as a visual the kind of structure that is laid out, and there are 4 pieces to this emergency management cycle: prevention, preparedness, response, and recovery. So the blue are the topics that we cover that were first identified in terms of prevention. More of those. The yellow then is the preparedness, the topics and who is involved. And so we viewed these all week long as every time that we met, this was the structure, and we added things to them all the way through until you get to recovery, which we are not in yet. So that's part of the structure that I think was important. We met for the first time on this topic, the COVID-19 virus topic, on March 28th. Then we met, which was a Friday. Then we met by February 20th, sorry, thank you. February 28th, Friday. Then our next meeting was by phone on March 1st, Monday of spring break, where we canceled many of our high school foreign trips, and we started to deal with those issues. Again, on Thursday of spring break, March 5th, where we did a foreign trip debrief where we were and made further decisions and checked up on that. The following day, March 6th, Friday. 6 days later, March 12th, Thursday, the incident command team met after I had had a call with North Valley superintendents, and followed by the conference call that Governor Ducey and State Superintendent of Instruction Hoffman invited all superintendents to participate in. And then we met in our command team on Thursday the 12th. On that day, we made the decision as based on the governor's recommendation and both Maricopa County Department of Health and the State Department of Health to stay open. Our primary goal in staying open was to take care of all of our students. We felt that, number one, by being open, those kids who had no place to go or parents who had an issue with daycare, we would still be open. But we also tried to make it clear, and this was probably one of the failures in this process, that the message did not go out or was not read, whatever, did not go out to the degree that I wanted it to, for people to understand that we respected their right to call their kids in, and that we were doing away with many of the attendance rules, and the kids would not be penalized so we would be taking care of those families who did not want to send their kids to school for fear that they may get in contact with somebody who would be passing on the virus, but also take care of those families who had no place else for their kids to go. The email trail that I know that you were a part of a great deal was very strong in terms of closing the school. But on the following day, on Friday, as we met with the principals to describe what it meant like to stay open, neighboring districts started to announce their closure. There were rumors that the governor was probably going to close the schools sometime during the week, we thought. And so at the end of that day, meeting with principals with a strong recommendation from the principals, and knowing that if we stayed open Monday and Tuesday and it was closed on Wednesday, that would not be the right decision that we had made at that point. So we chose to announce that we were closing the school on Friday the 13th, that we would reassess the situation, and that we would make the decision to close for 2 weeks, because that's what the governor had said, and then we would continue to assess what is happening. The parent community input was responded to, both the parent council survey, a teacher-led petition, and 150 some odd parent emails that we received. So that was Friday the 13th. Saturday the 14th, Cabinet met and set plans for the principals meeting that we were holding on Monday, and review issues and continue developing our frequently asked questions document on the website to help people understand what is going on. On Sunday, March 15th, the teaching and learning staff, some of them with Cabinet, met to plan the training for the teachers, and at 7 p.m. that night, Cabinet had a conference call after the governor's decision to close schools. Monday the 16th, Cabinet met, joined by principals, at 2 p.m., and Cabinet met again at 5:15 after the executive session that you were in convened, working on our communication plan. We met again today with elementary principals for discussions on teacher expectations, as well as questions and answers, and also later in the morning with the high school principals. So we've met daily since Thursday the 12th. Cabinet will continue to meet daily without meeting for the weekend, hopefully this weekend, but we'll meet daily to see where we are and to develop our communication. We are planning a daily update. All staff will receive an update from us at 4 p.m. and the community at 5 p.m. Each day. Hopefully you have seen those. Governing board is part of the group that is sent the 4 o'clock meeting. There are 3 guiding beliefs for our closing the schools and what we are doing. Number 1, matter of practicality. I believe, and this has been confirmed both by legal advisors as well as ADE, that the governor closed schools, not the school district. So the school district is still doing business, but not our main business. Secondly, we continue to have the mission that we all have agreed to, simply, we educate. We will continue to educate. Many schools, many school districts are on spring break and are not planning for next week even at this point to provide instruction. We are going after this full force. We believe that our role has to be to continue to educate the students with the highest level of instruction that we can bring together given this situation. And thirdly, we also believe that we have to take care of all of our student needs beyond the education. So Title I, you've seen well publicized what our nutrition services has been doing with providing meals for kids. And you may have seen today, today's list, I have this here somewhere. Yesterday, nutrition services fed through our pickup service 490 students, 490 meals, breakfast and lunch. Today, 742. It's growing. I'm told that during Red for Ed, it went down each day. And I think the publicity that we've received from the media has been appreciated and been so positive. And the principals being there has also been a highlight of people coming to get their meals. The education that we are providing, as we've talked about, the online learning, and some teachers have already reached out to students and have started with assignments. Later this week, the teachers will be trained in 2 different platforms. One that most of them are familiar with and are using is the Google platform, and the other is Microsoft Teams program that we have started new and have some key teachers trained in that program. Our hope is that teachers will select that platform with which they are most familiar so they can be most effective, not have to deal with learning a platform and producing the lessons. The lessons will be, and tomorrow morning, the principals are receiving the training. This training is going to be done online, so teachers will get it from home. Tomorrow, principals will be receiving it online, so they are they will see the simulation training as if they were teachers, and so they will know what's going on. Some of the nuts and bolts of this training is the nuts and bolts of putting lessons online. They're familiar with it, but to grow in that area, we have the capability of live teaching, of videos, PowerPoints, connections to online resources, such as Discovery Education, that has a huge resource of curriculum. I am told that IT will have a help desk available from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. And there will be both IT and teaching coaches support for this program. We have, the principals have set minimum expectations, K-5, 6-8, and 9-12. Those are being distributed to teachers tomorrow prior to their training, so they will understand where they are. We ask that people have some patience because there will be glitches. This is old man Creekard talking now, but this is technology. There will be glitches. There will be people who don't understand exactly which way to go. There will be learning going on the part of the people who are presenting. I have great confidence in our teaching staff, and am pleased to announce that there are a large number of teachers who have volunteered have been trained as experts in Google, who have volunteered to come and continue with training at their sites with the staff, as well as those teachers who were trained in the Microsoft Teams program. People have stepped forward and asked to be a part as a guide to their fellow teachers as well as a resource. We will have persistence. We will fight through those challenges, and we will continue forward so that our plan is that we know that this may go on for period of time. It's unknown, so we have to do the best we can as soon as we can. We cannot lose any more time. And we want it to be student-focused. We've talked a lot about what the lessons look like in terms of engagement of students. And one of the videos that the teachers will be watching talks about the different methodology of teaching when you teach online and what the capabilities are. We're already hearing of some incredibly creative things that teachers have come up with prior to the training, perhaps because they're ahead of the bar when it comes to the training that is needed. So that's where we are. We'll be monitoring it on a daily basis. We will be reporting on a daily basis, and so we'll let you know how we are doing with that. The underlying belief of we educate is so important to us that through any kind of emergency, our mission does not change, our basic mission, and that's what we will be focusing on to bring that education. We have an outstanding group of teachers and administrators, and they are all on board. Now, on another note, I would like to say to the community that because of this meeting being closed to the public, that there is no public comment, we will in the future, if we have board meetings and we are still in this state of emergency, we will provide an avenue for public comment, for people to register their questions online so that, or statements, and so that they can be heard by the board at that time. We will do that for future regular meetings as long as we're under this type of setup. Okay? Thank you.
Can I
Thank
make
you.
just one quick thing here? Sorry, I should have said, and I was waiting for you to make your comments, but I just wanted to just thank everyone as well. Leadership principals are resilient and creative educators. And also, since this is the spot on the agenda where we would normally recognize staff and our students, I just wanted to also recognize Patty Bilberry and her team, awesome, for providing the meals for the children in the community. When I spoke with her this week, all she said to me continually was, "Don't worry, we've got this," and boy, did they ever. And the last thing, I think this really highlights what we all truly know, that our neighborhood school is much more than just academics. That's it.
Thank you very much. Board Member Kravitz.
Since we're thanking people, thank you for your comments, Dr. Picard. I also wanted to thank Patty Bilberry. Once again, she steps up to the plate and does a great job. But I also want to thank the cabinet for their long hours over and above what is customary. And I also want to thank the communications department. It's a small but mighty team, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe I read they were here till 4 a.m. What was it, last Friday?
Actually, they were here till 4 a.m. Friday morning, putting out the word and on all the different media that they have about that we were staying open.
Right.
And I called Friday afternoon and said, I think there's a Geico ad that's kind of like that. Oh, we're going to flip. And and they did it.
Right, so the communications department has been working 24/7, it appears. So if anyone has any questions about what's going on in the district, what the latest is, I would recommend that they visit district websites or social media sites. Anything that has SUSD on it that is from the district. And if your question isn't answered there, you can always send an email to the district, to the governing board, or the superintendent, and an answer will be found, because sometimes we omit things not meaning to, but if you want to know what's going on, I suggest going to district websites and media sites as well. But again, thank you to everybody in the district for stepping up during this very unusual time.
Thank you.
I had my thank yous too, so I guess I'll go ahead and say them at this point. No one could have predicted that our school district would be in the position of our facilities closing at this time, and we'd have these medical concerns and risks. And to think that SUDSD can get 22,000 students online instruction in approximately 2 weeks is really a commendable accomplishment. So I want to say thank you to Dr. Creekard and your leadership staff for doing that. And to our parents and our students out there, Dr. Creekard alluded to it, but I just want to reiterate and ask you for some grace in this area, because we understand that there will be bumps along the way. And I encourage you, the students and the parents, to be patient and respectful of our educators, because they will have a learning curve and there will be technology challenges. I want to thank you to the entire staff for their efforts and decisions that they made this past week. I also want to thank Patty Bilbrey and her heroic staff for providing the nutritious meals to our students that started on Monday, and to the principals and staff that are handing out those meals. Thank you to our classified staff for their continued support and dedication to our students. We, as Board Member Beckman had said, this really is she alluded to it's a team effort, that everybody, that our schools are more than just walking into a classroom and getting educated. And the workers that do all that work, a lot of times we don't see them and we really don't understand what they do, but we couldn't continue to be the school that we are without them. So I just want to say thank you. I want to say also that I hope that everybody remains healthy, and that we practice these safe behaviors that we're hearing from the medical community, because if we don't, this virus will spread. And so as difficult as it is, especially for our students, because, and I heard it today, that when you're younger, you don't feel that you're vulnerable and that you can get this. And if you do, most likely you will not be affected, but the reality is that you could come into contact with somebody who is at risk, and therefore you could be hurting somebody else, and we need to remember that. So I just want to say thank you, and God bless everybody.
Thank you.
All right, we will move on to, and as was, typically this is public comment, but we will not be having public comment as it was mentioned by Dr. Creekard. There are no information and discussion items tonight, so we'll move on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So
or are there any
moved.
changes? Board Member Greenberg makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Board Member Kravitz seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Again, typically this is the time where we would have public comment, but we are not going to have it tonight due to the coronavirus pandemic. So we will now move on to action items, which I believe now that we've had some changes, it is now action item, I believe it was 9C, approval of the superintendent's quarterly priorities for the fourth quarter. So let's start with an update of the past quarterly priorities by Dr. Creekard, unless there is discussion of some sort.
Before we do that, did we want to table this for another time, or is this something?
Oh, this particular one?
Well, what was there something we wanted to
So,
table?
what is being alluded to is the, after this particular meeting, we have an exec session planned, and that is the one that we were going to table.
So we weren't going to just, okay.
We were still going to follow through with this. Does anybody want to change? Well, I guess we can't really change the agenda at this time, but I guess we could not second it.
I move to table this evening.
So would we need to table it, or would we just, we make a motion and then there's no second and we don't? Okay. All right.
It's been a long
So we
week.
have a motion to table action item C, approval of the superintendent's priorities. Is there a second? And then we'll have discussion.
Second.
Seconded by Board Member Greenberg. Is there discussion?
Dr. Kriegard, is this okay with you, or would you rather discuss this tonight?
My priorities will remain the same over the next couple of weeks.
With some new ones, I'm sure.
Yeah, with some new ones, but yeah, I had published the thematic goal playbook update. We'll do that, and the transition with the new superintendent is ongoing. As you heard me say, we have a regular Wednesday afternoon phone call. We will continue those, and we have set up some times when I think he will be in the district. And thirdly, I was going to add that we would continue to develop a successful online education model. So those are what my three priorities are. If you want to table, I did send out my third quarter report. So you have had that, but the public has not.
Well,
My basis for raising this, I think probably the board vice presidents as well, is that these discussions can also tend to go on for a very long time, and I just wasn't sure if this was something people felt we could table until next month.
Yes.
Well, we have a motion to
Correct.
table it, and we have a second.
Correct.
So why don't we make
Vote.
a decision based upon that, and that will determine what happens. It
Correct.
appears Dr. Kriegard is ready and willing to go forward, but let's
Or
go ahead and
also willing
willing
to
to
do it.
table.
Yeah,
But-
absolutely.
So, why don't we go to a vote unless
Mhm.
there's a discussion on actually what is the motion? All right, we will. Those in favor of tabling this item, please say aye.
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 So, aye. So the motion passes 5-0. So we'll go on to future items for consideration. Are there board members, you may propose topics for future agenda items? Does anybody have any suggestions?
Superintendent's comments, or superintendent's priorities.
Okay. We will just move that to probably the next meeting. Any others? All right, I'm not seeing anybody. All right, so then we'll move to dates of upcoming meetings. They will be Tuesday, well, as long as, we'll go ahead and state them as they are scheduled. Tuesday, April 7th, 2020, 5 p.m., special board meeting at the MDA. Tuesday, April 21st, 2020, 5 p.m., regular governing board meeting at Coronado High School. Any governing board reports? All right, then I move to adjourn this regular governing board meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Vice President Beckman seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. This regular governing board meeting on March 17, 2020 is adjourned at 8:43 p.m. Please all stay as we have an executive session and we will need to decide what we're going to do with that. So don't. I call to order this special meeting executive session of the Scottsdale Unified School District. It is March 17, 2020, and the time is 8:45 p.m. I will have a roll call starting on my right.
Jan Michael Greenberg.
Sandy Kravitz.
Barbara Pillerberg.
Patty Beckman?
And Allison Beckham. All 5 governing board members are present, and we have a quorum. All rise. Vice President Beckman, will you lead us in the pledge?
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I move to table the agenda item 4A, given the time of the night and all of the hours that our general counsel has put in the last 5 days, and it's 8:45 p.m., and I bet she's been here, probably are working since about 6 a.m. So, do I have a second?
Second.
So, Board Member Kravitz, seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. We are adjourned. Oh, yeah. We are, wait, I call now to adjourn the meeting, this special meeting in exec session. I have to go
Is that
through
a
this again,
motion?
do I?
Did you
Yes,
make a
that's a
motion?
motion.
motion?
I
And
second that
do
motion.
I have a second? Barbara Perlberg seconds the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. We are now adjourned at 8:46 p.m.